All right, and welcome back to the forecast card. Pretty decent day. 8, 5, and 2. Ended up basically up a unit, up 0.97 units. Brewers run line, a little bit sweaty to start, but they kind of come through at the end. End up winning that game 7-2. Cubs first five money line, completely no sweat. I think they end up winning the first half, like I don't know, like 6-0 or something. Phillies run line, pretty nasty backdoor. Yeah, I think they were up like 7-3 at one point, gave up 2 runs, and then top of the ninth, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Kirkering or whatever gives up a 3-run home run. The Phillies end up winning this game in the bottom of the ninth, but they obviously don't cover the run line. So pretty frustrating. 1 strike away there from winning that one, but it is what it is. Braves Rockies over 10.5. This ends at 10. There's so many left on base. Not as many home runs as I expected. The Rockies just can't get any runs here at home lately. They've been like the other teams have been putting up like 8 runs, and the overs have not been hitting. So, I'm gonna lay off the overs for a bit. I do think that was the right side though, honestly. Mariners run line ends up actually being a little bit sweaty. They end up winning this game 5-3, but had a chance to get backdoored in the ninth. But fortunately, they pull through. A nice plus 130 there. Giants at Padres first five under 3.5. Probably my least sweaty bet on the day. That just basically died in the top of the first. Padres went up 3-0. I think this ended up being like 7 runs or something by the end of the fifth. So that one really had no chance. Logan Webb did not have a good day. Twins Guardians over 8. This game ended up getting delayed, and hopefully your books have it, but my books, if it's delayed, it gets canceled if it's a total. Because of course the weather was not going to be nearly as good for runs as it was when I had bet this game. Yankees first five run line, the epitome of sweat free. I think they're up like 9-0 or something at the end of the fifth. Just completely blew up Kyle Bradish. Reds first five run line. This gets postponed. I'll have that bet again today. Royals and Rays under, pretty sweat free. Red Sox Jays over, also relatively sweat free. Thank God Bowden just kept giving up home runs over and over again. Diamondbacks and Mets under 9. This looked okay for a little bit. I think it ends at 10 or 11 or something. I didn't really love this bet in the first place, but yeah, the Mets just were super efficient with their offense. I think they only stranded a couple runners, so it is what it is. Rangers run line, sweat free. Astros first five money line. Now this one really pissed me off because the top of the sixth, they're down 2-0 the entire first half, the first 5 innings. And the top of the sixth, they get 3 runs, and then they go on to win this game like 6-4 or something. So annoying when you take the first five. Just sometimes it just doesn't work out. Marlins Dodgers over 8.5, obviously pretty sweat free. I think they end up 17 runs thanks to the Dodgers. So overall, not a bad day. We take what we can get. But yeah, let's get into my bets for tomorrow. All right, heading on to game number 1, we have the Cardinals heading on the road to play the Cincinnati Reds. Now, this is a very similar game to what we played yesterday, and I still like it. I think I actually like it a little bit more now because, again, the weather's going to be slightly worse, and I do think that the Cardinals aren't going to be easily as bailed on getting home runs. Again, Brady Singer at home has been really good. He's 4-0 for a reason. Again, this Cardinals team, despite being really, really good against right-handed pitching to start off the year, they've really, really regressed. The bottom 5 offense get right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. Even on the season, they've fallen outside of the top 15, so they're just not hitting righties well. And Miles Mikolas, he's been getting really lucky. His xFIP's bad. His ERA should honestly almost be worse than what it is. This guy stinks, and historically the Reds have lit him up. They've seen him 77 times, 77 at bats, given up a .299 average, almost a .900 OPS. They've had a lot of success. And again, Miles Mikolas, historically, much, much worse on the road, especially this year. And obviously, Brady Singer is quite elite at home. So I think we're getting a lineup here that historically on the year has not hit right-handed pitching well at home. But I don't see any real reason for that. I think it's going to balance out. They're still basically a top 10 team against righties on the year. For some reason, it's really bad at home and really good on the road. I think that's just being a coincidence. I don't actually think there's any real logic there. So I will expect that the Reds get a couple early runs off Mikolas and Brady Singer has a solid outing. So Reds first 5 run line at -115, half unit bet for me. All right, moving on to the next game. We have the Tigers heading on the road to play the Houston. Again, I am betting every game, but this game particularly doesn't really excite me. Um, I have no idea what to expect from this Blue Bow guy who's going to be starting for the Astros. And Jackson Jobe has a kind of a bad xFIP, which, if you're unfamiliar with advanced statistics, it kind of shows that he's getting lucky to have such a good ERA, which is 2.70. He's kind of due to give up a few runs. That being said, I'm going to be on the Tigers here for plus money. I just think they have the better lineup here. And again, I don't think Jackson Jobe is by any means elite pitcher, but I think he's going to be better than this Blue Bow guy. Blue Bow has really struggled against lefties this year, and now Tigers have some really, really good lefties with Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter. So I think that the Tigers get to them early, and I think they're a slightly better bullpen will pull through. So Tigers money line here at plus 105 for me for a quarter unit. Moving on to the next game, we have the Braves hanging on the road to play the Rockies. Now, I don't really know how to take this game. I don't really want to bet Braves run line at like -140, and I don't want to trust the Rockies. And I really don't want to take an over again after I've been kind of getting screwed. But I think I'm just going to be on the Braves team total here at plus 110, over 6.5. I know it's a big number, and it's very possible that they don't get to it, but Chase Dollander, despite being okay in terms of his xFIP numbers, his biggest problem is that he gives up a lot of hard contact and barrels. He's currently the number one pitcher in baseball that's qualified, giving up almost a 20% barrel rate. He's a top 10 in hard contact allowed. When you look at his adjusted EV numbers, top 20, number 17. In terms of sweet spot, again, not good. So I think, with the weather again going to be blowing out here, I think the Braves bats, if you looked at a lot of their hits today, a lot of them just weren't making it over the wall because they're just hitting it at like a 20-degree angle. But I don't know. I think Dollander's going to give up a lot of hard contact here against a team that can swing the ball really well. So again, Chris Sale is decent, but he has historically struggled a little bit here in this. Honestly, he's had a pretty bad start in general, but historically he's been not great in Colorado. So I think he gives up a few runs. I think both these bullpens are kind of mediocre, and hopefully, particularly Dollander. Yeah, again, I forgot I took team total, not over. Yeah, I just like the Braves team total. I think they get to Dollander early. I think he gives up a few big home runs. He's kind of his biggest problem this year. He does give up a decent amount of walks. And again, he gave up 4 home runs in his game to Washington, 2 against the Padres, 2 against the Athletics. And now he's going to be pitching at home again, where he just played the Nationals and gave 4 home runs. So unless he has some significant adjustments over 2 weeks, I think he's going to have a similar problem here against the Braves, who, on paper, really good against righties and have a really high octane offense. So I'm expecting a much bigger game today from Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, who didn't really do much today. Heading on to the fourth game, we have the Marlins heading on the road to play the Dodgers. I'm just going to be on the over in this game. Again, Cal Quantrill on the road is just really bad. He's being bad this year. He's been bad last year. He's just bad even at home. This guy just sucks. He's really, really bad against righties, really bad against lefties, particularly bad against righties. And obviously the Dodgers, Mookie Betts, Teoscar Hernandez, both been really red hot lately. Andy Pages has been really good too. Again, and their lefties are insane too. So I think the Dodgers will get their side of the runs as they typically do. Marlins bullpen is completely depleted from these last 2 games of getting their starters completely rocked. So I think the Dodgers are just going to continue to shit on them here. And on the other side, this is going to be Tony Gonsolin's start. Again, this guy's 30 years old. Obviously, that's not that old, but he wasn't really good last year. He didn't even pitch last year. The year before that, he wasn't good at home. 5.55 ERA. He had one of the worst xFIPs of almost any pitcher, especially for the Dodgers. Again, this is going to be his first game starting after Tommy John's. He's looked okay in minor leagues, but he's still giving up decent amount of hits, some home runs, some walks. His Ks are down, his velocity's way down. I think he's going to get lit up a little bit too. Again, weather's not phenomenal for runs, but I think this line is as high as it is for a reason. I have this modeled at like a 10, 11 run game. So I'm going to be on the over 9.5 here in the Dodgers Marlins game. All right, heading on to the next game, we have the Angels heading on the road to play the Mariners. Um, we saw a decent more amount of runs today, but again, taking unders in Seattle is typically a really good thing. An 8.5 total is something you don't often see. Um, Emerson Hancock, despite having like a really bad 7.71 ERA, his xFIP's actually really good. He's basically a top 50 pitcher this year. An xFIP of I think 3.5. So I think he's gotten a little bit unlucky, and now he's going to be pitching back at home, where he has pitched much better. Sorry, he pitched really. His really bad game was at home, but I think that was kind of a fluky game. Where he gave up, what was it? 6 runs, 6 earned runs, 1 home run, 0 strikeouts against Detroit. He didn't even go out of the first inning, but since then he's been much better. I think he's gonna have a bounce back game at home here. And the Angels again, definitely not as potent of an offense as Detroit. Detroit top 10 against righties, Angels bottom 10 against righties. So again, I like both these pitchers. On paper, I think Tyler Anderson his xFIP's pretty bad. He's kind of due to get lit up, but again, this is going to be just a ballpark where you don't see a lot of runs, you don't see a lot of home runs. And I have this model that it should be like a 2-1 or something first half. So I'm going to be on the first half under 4.5 at -120 here for half a unit. Heading on to our next game, we have the Giants heading on the road to play the Padres. Now the Giants are one of those teams that rarely lose twice in a row. I think they're 8-2 after a loss straight up. And obviously, I do think Michael King is a better pitcher, and he's had good success against the Giants in the past. But Padres are still, kind of a mediocre lineup without Jackson Merrill. Fernando Tatis Jr. has been really hitting a rut. Machado hasn't been hitting well. I just don't know how much longer, Gavin Sheets and Xavier Bogaerts can continue to kind of carry this offense. So I think the Giants bounce back here. I think they find some success. Again, Padres over the last 14 days, especially without Jackson Merrill, have not been phenomenal against right-handed pitching. They've actually been the second worst offense against righties. And the Giants have also been kind of regressing a bit, but they're still significantly better than this Padres lineup in terms of talent, I think, right now. So I'm going to give a shot on the Giants. Landon Roop's actually not been bad. He had a bad start, but his xFIP is actually top 30, 3.24 xFIP over 25 innings pitched. Small sample size, but he's been good. He's actually technically a better xFIP than Michael King. So take the slightly better pitcher in terms of xFIP. Giants are a really, really good road team, and the Padres still kind of shorthanded here. And we're getting pretty solid plus money here at +120. So I'm going to be on the Giants money line in this game. All right, heading on to the next game. This is a bit of a weird one. We have the Twins heading on the road to play the Guardians. So immediately I kind of liked the Twins when I first looked at this at -120. But I think it's kind of a trappy line. The fact that they're not more favored here with the better pitcher, the hotter bats, kind of tells me that there was something to look at. And when I did look into it, again, Pablo Lopez, elite pitcher. One of the best in baseball when he's at his best. But his struggles this year and in the past have been that he really struggles against lefties. On the season, he has a batting average of .343 against left-handed hitters this year. He's given up all their home runs. He's given up 12 hits in fewer at-bats. And just overall, he can't seem to deal with lefties. And again, if you know anything about this Guardians lineup, is that they're all lefties except for one guy. They have a bunch of switch hitters, but in this case, all the switch hitters are going to switch to be lefties here. And we just saw kind of a pathetic game where the Twins only put up 1 run. And some people could argue that was just them having a bad game, but their offense really hasn't been that good all year. They just had a bit of a hot streak there, but I think that they're not back at home, they're going to be struggling a little bit again, especially against this lineup. Historically, it's hit Pablo Lopez really well. 62 at-bats, he's given up 22 hits, 7 walks, a batting average of .355. Again, I don't think Louis Ortiz is necessarily that elite of a pitcher, but he can strike you out. If you look at his last 3 starts, he's given up some runs, his biggest problem is walks, but he's also just getting a ton of strikeouts. 10 strikeouts against the Royals, 8 against Pittsburgh, 8 against the Yankees. Obviously not the best teams, but still, he goes 100 pitches. I'm gonna be on the Guardians first 5 on this game. I think the Guardians get to Pablo Lopez. I'm just not really interested in dealing with this Guardians bullpen that's been really overworked the last few days. But we're still getting plus money here at the Guardians first five at plus 115. I really like the spot for them, but I'm still only going to be on it for half a unit. All right, that brings us to our next game, which is my favorite game on the board. We have the Yankees heading on the road to play the Orioles. Now, both these pitchers, you could argue, are two of their worst pitchers that both of these teams have to offer. Carlos Carrasco, historically a guy that gives up a ton of hard contact. Cade Povich also has been giving up a ton of hard contact. Gave up three home runs against the Reds in that one game. He's walking a ton, and his hits have been really bad. 5, 12, 7, 6, 4, earned runs of 3, 1, 2, 7, 1. ERA of 5, a whip of almost 2 at some points. I don't think he's very good. And on the other side, Carrasco, yeah, he's 2-1 in the year, but that's because he's getting a ton of support. He's still 38 years old. He's been really bad on the road this year. 8.64 ERA. Since 2023, he's been over 6 ERA both years. This guy is really not good, and he also struggles a lot against righties, which again is a lot of the more talented hitters on the Orioles. So, yeah, I think this game's gonna soar over. I don't think neither team have really good bullpens this year. Orioles used some of their better arms yesterday. I'm not really sure if we're gonna see them come out again, unless it's like a really, really, really tight, close game. But yeah, if you look at the offenses statistically, Baltimore at home on the year, number one versus right-handed pitching. Look at the other side versus lefties on the year. Yankees are the number one team against lefties. So we're getting on paper the two best offenses with warm weather, wind blowing out, and two bum pitchers with some kind of used bullpens. I'm going to be on this game for 1 unit at over 9.5. Minus 120. Really love the spot. I think we're going to see a lot of runs from both sides. Kind of wanted to take the first 5 over, but I still don't love these bullpens. And I kind of like the fact that we could get a home run at any point, even with bullpen arms. So, yeah, definitely going to be on the over 9.5 here for 1 unit at minus 120. Moving on up, we have the Cubs versus the Pirates. Now, I looked at this game a few times. In terms of xFIP, Mlodzinski's actually been quite unlucky. Like, it seems like despite the fact that he's had some rough starts, he's not actually as bad as he looks. But I think his ERA does suggest, and his WHIP suggests that he is walking a lot of people. People are getting on base. Now he's going up against one of the best offenses in baseball, the best offense if you're just looking at total runs scored. And yeah, I think the Cubs are going to get to them. And Matthew Boyd, I really like what I'm seeing. He's 34. I think he's basically in his prime right now. He's looked really good at home, really good on the road. He's historically been a better road pitcher than he has been. So I don't know. I just don't. Again, the Pirates have been getting some hits every now and then, but how much can you rely on O'Neal Cruz hitting home runs all the time? You know, everyone else kind of sucks. McCutcheon's getting some hits every now and then, but their lineup just is not very deep. I think the Cubs have the way more lethal offense here, with people all the way up and down the lineup that have been getting a ton of runs. So I'm going to be here on the Cubs run line. I kind of want to take them on the first 5, but it's still a little bit too juiced. I don't love the Cubs bullpen, but I don't love the Pirates bullpen either. And I think the Pirates bullpen got a little more used than the Cubs did in the 9-0 win today. So, yeah, I don't know. Pirates could bounce back here, but I really like Boyd. Don't love Mlodzinski, and I like the Cubs bat. So I'll be on the Cubs run line here at minus 105 for half a unit. All right, heading on to our next game, we have the Nationals heading on the road to play the Phillies. Again, I don't really know what to expect. The Nationals have been getting a lot of runs lately, but if you look at their stats versus lefties, that's definitely been their problem. On the year, on the season, everywhere, they've been a bottom 5 offense against lefties. Now they're playing a really, really good lefty that historically has had really good numbers against him. 73 at-bats, 15 hits, 10 strikeouts. I think they really good chance here that Christopher Sanchez holds this team to no runs in the 6th, 7th inning. He typically has the ability to go pretty deep into games. And the other side, Jake Irvin has been looking really good this year. And again, the Phillies, people could say that they have the ability to smoke lefties at any given point. But again, the numbers don't really lie. The Phillies against righties have not really been that incredible compared to how good they've been against lefties. They've been very average, below average against righties. Sub 100 WRC plus over the last 2 weeks against right-handed pitching. Even on the whole year, if you look at this Phillies team against right-handed pitching, they're again 21st WRC plus, a below average with 99. they're really not that good against right-handed pitching. Yes, it does improve a little bit when they get at home, but still not incredibly good. Jake Irvin's been really, really good this year, uh, and I'm expecting him to continue to be pretty decent. He's played some good lineups. He just came off a really good start, 7 innings, only get one earned run on the New York Mets. He went all the way to Colorado, still had a really good game, 6 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, only 2 earned runs, which is pretty good for Coors Stadium. Then he played Pittsburgh, 7 innings, basically almost a no-hitter, 6 hits, 3 hits on 7 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts. He basically only had a couple bad starts against the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, arguably the two best offenses against right-handed hitters. So I think both of these offenses are going to struggle. Phillies can't hit righties that well. Nationals can't hit lefties. Both these pitchers are looking really good. Wind's going to be blowing in a little bit, so it's going to give us a bit of an advantage. Yeah, two of the worst bullpens, maybe actually the two worst bullpens in baseball right now. So I have no interest in betting them. So I'm going to be on the first five under 4.5. I'm only going to be on this for quarter unit, minus 115. I'd put more on it, but again, you never really know with this Phillies team. I'm confident in this bet, but not like crazy confident. The Phillies have the ability to light anyone up at any given moment. So, yeah, first five under 4.5 is my bet in this Phillies Washington game. All right, moving on to our next game, skipping over the doubleheader. We got the Royals versus the Rays. I'm just gonna stick to kind of what worked yesterday. I'm just gonna be on the under. The under hit yesterday with, in my opinion, much worst pitchers. And although Noah Cameron is kind of a wild card, we have no idea how good he's going to be in his debut. His stats have been really good in the minors. 27-8 K to walk ratio, sub 3.5 ERA, almost sub 1 WHIP. He's been quite good, and this Royals lineup is obviously a lethal versus righties, but they've been struggling as of lately against left-handed pitchers. Bottom 10. So I think Noah Cameron could have a pretty solid start here. And Drew Rasmussen, he had a really rough start last game against Arizona on the 24th, but I think he bounces back here. He historically this year has been really, really good at home. And after that shitty game, I think he's going to lock back in at home. Go like 6 innings, 7 innings. And both these teams have pretty respectable bullpens that are, for the most part, kind of rested. So yeah, again, Royals still can't hit righties. They hit the righties a little bit better, but they played some bad ones. I think they're due to just continue to be dog shit. Yeah, I just don't trust their offense to ever, tie runs together. They can get some hits, but it seems like when one guy gets a hit, it's either double play, then like a couple strikeouts. They get lucky if they get a sac fly or the occasional Bobby Witt home run. Yeah, I'll be in the under 8.5 here, but just for a quarter unit. All right, heading on to our next game, we have the Red Sox heading on the road to play the Jays. I don't really know what's going on in this game. Casey Lawrence, Jays just randomly picked him off waivers. I don't really know much about him, but I know he kind of sucks. If you look at his stats last year, his xFIP is really bad. He played for two teams, had an xFIP of 490. Not great. Giolito, also not phenomenal. And this is going to be his debut after coming off the IL. With an elbow injury, but before that, he really wasn't very good. Even his starts in the minors haven't been very good either. So this guy looked really bad on the road last year. 6 ERA over 96 innings pitched. I think the Jays are going to want to bounce back. They're going to find success, and Boston's offense has been red hot. So I think they'll find some success over Casey. Both these bullpens kind of got worked yesterday, specifically the Jays, who I think do have the better bullpen on paper lately, anyway. But I'm gonna be on the over here. Jay Stadium closed. You typically do see quite a lot of runs, so only quarter unit, but I'll be on the over 9 at minus 115. All right, moving on to our next game, we have the Diamondbacks heading on the road again to play the Mets. This is going to be an interesting game. I don't really know much about Brandon Waddell. He looks like he's kind of bad. He just got called up from AAA. He had a bunch of starts in May and July, all the way back in 2021 in the big leagues. But since then, he's played in the minor leagues. He's been pretty bad. His ERA is quite low, but his WHIP is really high, which typically suggests that he's kind of getting a little bit lucky, and he's quite bad against a lot of teams. That being said, I think Corbin Burns is really bad this year, and historically the Mets have lit him up. A .349 average since playing the Mets, 83 at-bats, 29 hits, 4 home runs, only 22 strikeouts, OPS of over 1. So this Mets team knows this guy really well. He hits him really well, and he's bad on the road. Brandon Waddell is going to be a bit of a wild card here for this Arizona team. Maybe the over is a good look, but again, it's not. There's no line out for the over, so I'm just going to bet the Mets money line here. They've been really, really good at home. They've been hot, good against righties, and again, I don't know what to expect from this Arizona team versus lefties. They've been much, much worse against lefties than righties, and I'm expecting to see a little bit more of that. So this is a weird game. Absolutely don't love it, but I'll be in the Mets money line at quarter unit for minus 105. Next game, we have the Brewers heading on the road to play the White Sox. Now, again, disgusting game. Don't particularly want to bet this game, but I'm sticking to betting every game. I'm probably just going to be on the over. I think it's kind of disgusting. It's going to be a environment in the White Sox stadium where runs are going to be a lot less frequent. But again, I have this modeled kind of high. I think Tobias Myers, obviously, he just had a really bad start. It's kind of hard to blame him. But again, if he had 4 innings pitched, he's technically has the 4th worst xFIP in baseball right now. Obviously, he played one game. Can't really completely fault him. And Shane Smith, he's been playing actually quite decent this year. Despite maybe one rough start, he's actually been pretty good. He got his first win. He's only 25. I think he's going to be highly motivated. But again, the Brewers against righties have been smacking them. They got kind of unlucky in their last game to not get a ton more runs. So I think they're going to find success against Shane Smith, who I don't think is that good. And again, Tobias Myers is fine, but he's an average pitcher at best. I think the White Sox are going to get some more runs like they typically always do. Maybe a couple straggler home runs, but I don't know. I have this model at 7.8, and it's and I'm getting a 7.5. I'll slightly lean the over, or the Brewers first 5, whichever one you prefer. But I'll be in the over 7.5 here for a quarter unit. All right, and to wrap us up, we have the Athletics heading on the road to play the Rangers. Again, kind of a weird spot here. The Rangers have just not been very good, especially since losing Seager. Seager wasn't even really playing that well either, but he was kind of just about to get hot, or just starting to heat up a little bit before he got hurt. That being said, Athletics versus righties are good, but Eovaldi's been really good this year. But again, the Rangers with all righty bats, Luis Severino's actually been kind of good this year. He had a really rough. I think he was on the Mets last year. But again, xFIP of around 4, pretty respectable. Last year he had an xFIP around 4.40, so kind of expected to be around this ballpark. And again, the Rangers versus righties just have not been good. And now they're going to be without one of their best left-handed bats. It's really just hard to expect them to put up runs. They're currently on the year, one of the worst offenses against right-handed pitching, bottom 5, and that again includes when Seager was playing, so it's probably even worse than that. And then on the other side, obviously, Athletics have been hitting righties fine, but Eovaldi's playing probably one of his best years at 35. He's looked really good. He looked really good last year. He's looked really good this year. Coming off a 0-run game against the Giants in 6 innings. Game before that, again, he hasn't given up more than 2 runs, 3 runs. He even had a 9-inning game this year. So I trust him to do it. I don't love either of these bullpens, but they're respectable enough here and at least rested enough where I think they can kind of hold the fort down once these starters come out. So, Rangers Park kind of mid for runs, especially when the field is closed up. So I'll be on the under 8.5 here, minus 125, just for a quarter unit. I could always see Severino kind of blowing up, and the Rangers did find a lot of success offensively yesterday. But again, that was kind of more of a beat up of just them putting in their bad bullpen. So I don't think we see that again. I think after that crazy offensive performance, we see a complete dud here. So yeah, give me the under 8.5 here at minus 125. All right, and that is everything for today. Make sure you check the spreadsheet. I've been posting my favorite NBA and NHL props up there. Not really no interest in actually betting the sides or totals in those games. I think they're a bit more wild cardy than normal. But props have been doing pretty good. I think we went 3-1 in NHL and 4-0 in NBA today. I actually didn't even betting any of them. Just I had some people ask me about it, so I decided to start putting them up. But maybe I'll make videos on that stuff. Probably not though, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's everything for today. Make sure to check the spreadsheet. You can see everything I'm betting and the units I'm betting on each of those. Yeah, I look forward to keeping this momentum going. Uh, and yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Oh, also, please comment down below if there's anything you want me to do to maybe improve the videos. I think they sometimes get a little bit long, which I understand, but I do kind of want to analyze them. You can kind of skip through the video if you want to just see the picks and not hear what I have to say about them. But again, longer viewership does really help me. So even if you just kind of listen to this in the background, whatever, just wanting to hear my opinion on games, it really does help and goes a long way to improve my viewership. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Cheers.